Sophie, today we learned that Telstra has apparently, got 130,000 customers' information that's gone out there, but it wasn't via hacking. They refer to all of this as a misalignment of databases. How exactly does a misalignment of databases result in people who shouldn't know knowing 130,000 people's details of where they live and their credit card number?
Well, Paul, that's beautiful corporate speak at its finest there, which really makes no sense and sounds like a bit of a cover-up to me. But the bigger question here, Paul, I have is why are these companies keeping so much of our data on their own databases? Even when you've left some of these companies, and we saw this with Optus, they were still hanging on to customer data when the customer had exited that business and no longer had a relationship with them. I'm really concerned, Paul, and I think a lot of Australians will be as well, as to what these companies hold on us and how risky it is, because as we saw with the Medibank data hack, that was extremely frightening. People's private medical information was exposed and put on the dark web. So I'm really concerned that the laws in Australia are far too weak on this. There's little repercussions for companies when this does go belly up, and Australians are at increasing risk of our data being spread goodness knows where.
The Chief Financial Officer of Telstra says this. This was a result of a misalignment of database. Protecting our customers' privacy is absolutely paramount. This is an unacceptable breach of trust. So who got sacked this weekend?
Yeah, I mean, very good question. I couldn't agree more with Sophie. I mean, after what we've seen with Medibank, with Optus, you'd think that Telstra would be extremely conscientious about protecting customer data. This wasn't an attack from some sort of foreign influence. This was a mistake, a stuff-up, and monumental error. I mean, I hate it when politicians and corporate use weird language. Just tell us straight. Someone stuffed up, but in this environment, it's a completely unacceptable error, a major error, and they need to demonstrate pretty quickly that they're taking it seriously and that, you know, someone is being held accountable for that. And I also agree that the amount of information that we are giving these companies, I mean, they all need to know our driver's license number, our date of birth, our credit card, all of our contact details. Data is valuable. We know that's why people are trying to steal it. These big corporates need to be extremely careful with the information we're giving them, and I think we should be looking at whether or not they're asking for too much.
Well, but also, Corey, thinking out loud, a dangerous thing to do, wondering out loud. If anyone turns around and says, hang on, he didn't go and do the policy work on this, hear me out, just a random idea. Clearly, companies can be fined, say, if they turn around and environmental practices resulted in a river being screwed over, right? Surely a standardised fine linked to the size of the data breach can be delivered to a company as part of a disincentive, or is directly sent, not to the federal government, but the $25 million fine is divvied up among 130,000 people who got screwed over, because in the end, the federal government doesn't need the extra money.
Yeah, Paul, I'm absolutely with you there, because they should have to pay the federal government something. I mean, I just go along with that as a penalty. But just think, if your data is lost and you have to replace your passport or your driver's license, or, you know, you've got to wait in the bureaucracy, or God forbid, you've actually got to call Telstra to get your update your details, you could be on hold for about 3 hours. I mean, there's got to be a claim against the company for that. So whether it's built into the fine levied by government, or whether it should be mandated that, you know, there's X unit points and a unit point is $500 or $1,000, I think it's a darn good idea, because it would force them to be more responsible and maybe more accountable for their own actions, whether it be a mistake or a hack.
I won't lie. Nothing sexier on a Sunday night than unit point talk on the telly. And I'm pleased we're doing it. We're doing that. We're doing the misaligned database. We're getting it. Watch out, wonks. It's a fun one.